So walk me through the day. I mean, when you got arrested, did you just get served an indictment? It sounds like you said they raided you. Like, walk me through that raid, what it was like, and what happened after that.
Yeah, so I was in the stash house. So basically that day I had sent all my drivers out, right? Because I was sending them out on the Nextels. I had about 40 people in the queue waiting to be delivered, and they were going, but their phones were being there was like a faulty message on the phone. It was going and that was like the bad feedback when Nextels didn't go through.
Mm.
And so I'm like, fuck. So I would call another driver, and that's the same shit was happening. So every time I was sending a driver, they were getting caught. And so they were
How
getting,
long did it take for you to realize that?
I didn't realize it for like 10, 11 hours.
But you knew something was up. You just didn't know what it was.
Yeah, I thought it was just a technical issue.
Okay.
And so I was just like, fuck, now I got to go make these deliveries myself. So I went up to the Bronx, grabbed over 100 bags of coke and weed, and then as I was walking out the house, there was this white dude. I mean, this is the South Bronx. There's no white people in the South Bronx. This is like this is an area where it was like primarily Hispanic and black people.
So you knew instantly, oh God, something's going on.
Yeah, yeah. Is that noise crazy?
It's a little loud.
We're not getting crazy feedback on that. So
Actually, I think as long as we're close to the mics, we might be okay.
yeah, we're good.
Okay.
We're dealing with some New York noise and music in the background, so let's keep on. So okay, so you see a white guy outside your apartment.
Yeah, so I see him, I look, and I'm like, whatever. And then he stops me. He tells me my full name. He said, Cos Marte. And I'm like, what? And he's like, this is Detective Joseph King. He pulls out his badge, throws it out, and he's like, this is Drug Enforcement Agent, blah, blah, blah. Your whole operation's over. And I'm like, get the fuck out of here. So I like turned around on him. As soon as he turned around on him, I don't know where the fuck these people came out of, but like they just threw me on top of my car and they cuffed me. And I was like, fuck. And so they were like, we have a warrant for the house, you know? So they literally cuffed me and brought me into the house, and they brought me upstairs. And when they brought me upstairs, they were like, where's all the shit? And I'm like, what shit? I don't know what the fuck you talking about. And they were like, they went straight. I had about 100 pairs of Jordans. I mean, at one point I almost had over 300 pairs of Jordans, but like they went right to that box where all the coke was.
So they knew.
And they were like, we know everything. And I'm like, oh shit. You know, there's only a number of people that knew where that shit was at. So
someone turned.
Somebody turned, you know, and told them.
And at this point, were you starting to get scared or worried about your future?
I don't know. I was not really scared, man. I was just ready to deal with the repercussions because I was just so in it that I was like, I just had a fuck it attitude. Like, yo, this is what I started. This is what I did. Whatever. You know, when they brought me to the precinct, they had the DA there, two district attorneys, and they were sitting me down and with a whole bunch of DEA agents and talking to me and trying to put pressure on me. And they were like, you know, trying to get me to spill. And I'm like, I'm not fucking telling anything. Like, fuck yeah, you know? And before that, they had passed me my wallet. And in my wallet, I had like 10 pieces of acid that I dropped before I went to the interrogation room. So I'm laughing at them. And I was bugging, man. I was bugging. And they were threatening me with life and all this shit. And I was like, whatever, because it was my third felony at the time. This is an A felony. You know, but I got really lucky due to the drug laws like changing while I was incarcerated in Rikers Island. So I got fortunate.
So what did they want to put you away for? And what did you end up getting? How many years did you end up doing?
So first they were trying to charge me with a kingpin charge. And
that's what we were going to use for the title of our video, by the way, was drug kingpin. So I think that might fit.
But they couldn't get a stick because technically a drug kingpin has to be caught selling over like a kilo of coke, but they caught me with it. I didn't sell it, you know, and they had me as like you know, I was running a crazy thing. They hit me with conspiracy. They hit me with possession. They hit me with numerous amount of sales when I never even made a hand-to-hand transaction.
Were there any RICO charges to try and go after the whole group?
No. So at that time, there was they didn't go after. They went after a lot of people. There was about 10 of us, but they didn't turn it into a federal case. They turned it into a state case.